We have some massively important technicals going on in the markets. We need to take a look at them to see exactly what's going on. I am Dr. Stock, Doctor of Education, and you can tune a guitar, but you can't tune a fish unless you play through the fish scales on your Fender Stratocaster. We're going to go through SPY, QQQ. I can tell you what, those two indices, you need to see exactly what's going on there, what's forming up for us, and what exactly to watch out for to see whether we're going to pop up from here or whether we're going to head back down. Enphase actually has something really interesting going on right now that I think is incredibly important to watch. And then we'll also give updates on Tesla and Nvidia in this video. So let me pop up SPY. So here's the chart for SPY, and you can see the rising wedge pattern that we have, which is a bearish formation. And this is one that we break down through the bottom trend line, much as I was talking about weeks ago for this other one where we broke down and had a quick sell-off. This is one that if we break down through the bottom trend line, we could also sell off some more from that one. So I'm going to be watching for that return down to the 50-day if we happen to do that. If we break to the upside on this instead, then we got to be watching out for the double top right at around the 524 mark. Breaking up above that is a bullish thing. So that's what we need to watch for, is where exactly we go with these trend lines. It's very much the same of what we see for QQQ. Let me move this line out of the way so we can pay more attention to the rising wedge pattern that we have. And like I said, we want to see where we go with that. Nvidia is going to put the wind back in the sails if their earnings impress and their guidance impresses next week on Wednesday the 22nd. We're going to have to be on the lookout for that one as well. And again, if we break out the bottom of this, that's when we start to see that point where we could start selling off and head lower on this one. Right now, things are looking bullish for both the markets with the bearish formation shaping up, and we need to see what happens over the coming days. Inflation numbers and corporate earnings could be the thing that really impacts that. Moving over to Bitcoin. Bitcoin softening a little bit before the PPI numbers come out, and also CPI numbers tomorrow, and we'll see what that brings for us. We're down below the 50 EMA and SMA, and sort of, I guess, trading sideways by crypto standards. For Bitcoin, a little bit of volatility still coming in, still deciding on that direction. We have an inverse head and shoulders here, but it's within a bearish channel. So right now, still bearish as far as the 50-day goes. As far as this formation goes, we're up above the 200-day, which is actually a bullish thing. So we're sort of mixed right now. Should we break up through the top of this and also break the 50s at about 65,000? That can be a very significant signal that we have further upside for Bitcoin. If we fail to break out of the formation, or if we get rejected off the blue 50 up here, which is the simple moving average, or the exponential moving average that we have right here, and especially if we drop down below that 60,000, then we could see a return back down here to the low to mid 50s for per BTC. Moving over to Enphase. So I have this formation on here. We know that we have a consolidating pattern. Let me hide that for a moment, and I want you guys to pay attention to the EMA. I'm going to call it an EMA compression that we have happening right in here. That we have the 50 blue and the 50 red, so the EMA and SMA, and then we also have the 200 SMA, and then we also have the 5 and the 13. We have all of these moving averages converging on one another. And what can happen when you have that sort of convergence is that you actually have that consolidation, that compression in the Bollinger Bands as well, where you get that narrow range. And the thing is about Bollinger Bands, let me reset the chart view so you can see this better. When you have that narrowing of the Bollinger Bands, what you can tend to have happen is a breakout in either direction. It does not tell you direction. Right now, we're below the 50 and the 200, but with all that compression, with all that squeeze there, whichever way it happens to go, I think it's going to be a drastic move to the upside or the downside. The inflation numbers can be something that highly impact that. And so for CPI and PPI, I think going to be absolutely huge. And I think a breakout is coming very soon to Enphase. We need to be on a lookout for that breakout moment for them. And either we break to the upside and get that golden cross moment, and then we see a significant appreciation from where we're at right now, or we see a break to the downside on this thing, and then we're looking for support to see if we get to the support around 106, 100. If not, we continue to drop down below there, down into the 90s. And so, like I said, watch Enphase. Big move, likely coming for it, especially with all the moving averages compressing, with the Bollinger Bands compressing. I think that there's going to be a big movement coming in the very near future, within the next days to several weeks for Enphase. So be on the watch for that. Maybe even CPI will be that catalyst. So we'll happen to see maybe at 8:30 today with PPI, 8:30 tomorrow with CPI, but definitely be on the lookout for what happens. Tesla got rejected off the 50 EMA. It closed yesterday just barely above the 50 SMA, and so currently deciding what it's going to do. The RSI on the daily chart coming up from the bearish side of this, maybe getting that cross, still deciding what exactly it wants to do. The inflation reports, like I said, for Enphase are also going to matter for Tesla. Moving over to Nvidia. Nvidia still deciding if it wants to break over that 900 mark. If it does, we can get that significant push to the upside. We want to see this top trend line broken. I have that $1,000 stock price prediction either leading up to or just after earnings. And as far as the leading up to, we have a week and a day to see that happen. So expect anything to happen. I doubt that Nvidia prices are going to stay near where they're at without deviating from it significantly from this price right now. So I'd say give or take 5% at the very least between now and then leading up to those earnings. Even if we don't hit that $1,000 price tag, I think that we could see that 5% move, like a $40, maybe $50 move in either direction, leading up to earnings. Following earnings, we're either going to see that sell the news event if we happen to run up significantly a price, or if they really do happen to impress in the infrastructure. There's still strong demand going on for Nvidia, and not necessarily the weaker demand that we may have seen in other AI infrastructure plays that are out there. Then this is one that that can most definitely pop off instead of dropping following those earnings. We're going to have to watch and see what happens for us. So guys, those are the technicals I wanted to share with you. Keep an eye on those rising wedges that we have in the S&P and QQQ. Keep an eye on Enphase for the breakout. Watch Bitcoin for that pop up out of the top of the channel. That can be a bullish reversal for us. And then also, if we get rejected, watch for that drop to come. Tesla, watch those 50-period simple moving averages and exponential moving averages for the daily chart that we have. That's going to be very telling. I think that we're going to get our answer to that very soon. And then Nvidia, watch for that run up to earnings, or possibly if we're a little bit doubtful going into those earnings, we could possibly approach it low, which could actually be a sign for some bullishness on earnings then. So guys, those are my thoughts. That's my commentary for the day. Thank you very much for watching. I am Dr. Stock, Doctor of Education. Remember, my friends, that learning is earning, and we'll see you in the next video.